Hello and welcome. My name is Mark Blatstein, the physician founder of Physician Pre-Sentence Report Service. We are physician prison consultants. June 17th, 2025, the Federal Bureau of Prisons set up a directive to fully implement First Step and Second Chance Acts. The goal, according to Director William Marshall, was to eliminate the barriers to maximize the availability of home confinement. Makes sense. And they were going to be doing this, one, to avoid wasting millions of taxpayer dollars keeping people incarcerated or in prison. Two, reduce the strain on both prison bed space and, quite frankly, in halfway house bed space. And lastly, eliminate the prolonged and necessary burdens on inmates and their families, especially where they're stable families and the spouse or the father or mother is needed in the home to help the family. And so after a little bit of a struggle, Director Marshall established the First Step Act Task Force on July 14th, 2025. And the goal is to take the paperwork from home confinement under the First Step Act and Second Chance Act and understand why this wasn't being processed by staff according to Director Marshall's objectives. And so the solution that they came up with, or that the BOP came up with, was a dedicated task force at the Designation and Sentencing Computation Center. And these will go ahead, and these individuals are going to manually identify and correct individuals' community placement dates, starting first with the halfway houses. And they were going to take these numbers and these corrected placement dates and inform the Big Bureau's residential reentry management team offices person by person. And so what they did was that they identified the individuals in the residential reentry centers in the halfway houses who were eligible for home confinement. Went through all their numbers. They manually calculated them and came to found out their correct home confinement placement dates, which stacked earned credits between the First Step Act and Second Chance Act. Then they gave this information, they passed it on to the residential reentry management teams so that they could accelerate the transition or move people out of halfway houses to home confinement. And then the goal was to then take the same process and procedure and go through all of those individuals who are still incarcerated in prisons and calculate manually their dates so that they can be able to get early release according to the intent of the First Step Act Task Force directly to community placement, albeit to that home or to halfway house. A gentleman by the name of Rick Stover, who is senior deputy assistant director, then started immediately with a specialized team to start calculating these home confinement placement dates. The challenge that the Bureau of Prisons and the Director Marshall had was that there still are, as everyone knows, staff among case managers and wardens throughout the Bureau of Prison who do not believe that this is a mandatory release and mandatory objective to stack both First Step Act and Second Chance Act credits to allow earlier release to those who are eligible, especially to home confinement. And so personally, I believe that it could take up to a year for all of this, all the efforts of the First Step Act Task Force to be uniformly adapted throughout all prison staff. But until that point comes, it's really up to everyone individually to keep track of all of your own earned time credits on your own. Get a logbook or a notebook or something from Amazon sent into you, a place where you can literally day, date, and time note every class you took, and when you took it, who taught it, and maybe a little bit of information about it, but something so that you have proof on your own that you've taken all these classes. And yes, I know that the Bureau of Prisons, they track it also, but do you really want to trust them? I hope you found this helpful. This is my first time doing a shorter version of my YouTube, and I'm grateful for you taking the time out of your day to listen. Have a good day and stay safe.